Walter White.
It's story time with Bryan Cranston, an acting masterclass.
She was choking. I instinctively reached to turn her over, but I stopped myself. Why should I save her? I'll just pretend I wasn't there. And then somehow, as she was fading, she wasn't herself anymore. I wasn't looking at Jane, or Jesse's girlfriend, or the actor Kristen Ritter. I was looking at Taylor, my daughter, my real daughter. I wasn't Walter White anymore. I was Bryan Cranston, and I was seeing my daughter die.
Family crops up a lot in his book. Not just his daughter, but his parents, who we learn badly let down the young Bryan and his siblings.
I've had a very challenging childhood. There was abandonment, there was alcoholism, so there was resentment and some anger, and my job affords me the avenue to be able to channel those feelings into my work, and the jealousy and resentment and anger and hatred and any of those aspects that you've ever felt in your life need to be able to come to the surface.
So that's how he pulled off one of the greatest roles in TV history. His mother was the alcoholic, his father the abandoner when Cranston was 11. And much later, after his dad died, Bryan Cranston found a note.
In his own shaky handwriting, he said, the best part of my life, or best time of my life, I think, the best time of my life was when my children forgave me for the worst time in my life.
And you did forgive him?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
These are my good clothes. You can't go home smelling like a meth lab.
Yeah, you can. I do. Those? Wow. Those, you're keeping those on, right?
Y fronts.
But you call them tighty whities.
Tighty whities.
And they've been integral to your career, in a sense.
Yes, well, I actually have. Walter White didn't care anymore. The tighty whities, to me, represented a maturity that stopped, a stifled life. When I met with Vince, he told me he wanted to turn the dial on him. So the character we met in the beginning, that Walter White, would cease to exist by the end of the series. It would be a completely different person. Now I'm fascinated by that, and I wanted in desperately.
And do you think, had that ever never been done before?
In the history of television, that construct had never been done.
Wake up!
Here's this character, got it, I get it. And then once you sympathize with him and you follow him and you root for him, then we're gonna turn the dial and have him completely change, and you're coming along with us because they planted the seed in you.
Before Walter White, his most significant role was as the bumbling father in Malcolm in the Middle, often humming or whistling a tune.
I got a call from the music coordinator from the network, and they said, well, you're whistling and humming on the show. It's your own orchestration, you're not whistling a specific song? It's just something, I'm just doodling. Well, technically it is music. You might as well get paid for it. And every time I got a check, I'd bring it into my crew and say, look, I got more money. And so I'd have a party. The crew started thinking, this is great. Every time he gets paid, we have a party. So they would come up with ideas. As he's fixing the garbage disposal underneath because it seems like he could be whistling or something. I go, hey, Josh, that's a great idea. I'll whistle. And there's 2 seconds. They just bought themselves a drink.
With Breaking Bad Emmys under his belt, offers have flooded in. Often historical characters, the likes of Dalton Trumbo, a screenwriter blacklisted under McCarthy for being a communist. Obviously, that's a time when America was so polarized. Do you think you're as divided now, politically, certainly?
I think it's cyclical. I think there are periods of time when people feel disenfranchised and not listened to. I think the presence of Donald Trump is actually, in the long run, a good thing, because it could be a wake-up call to what could have been a disaster.
Would you ever play Trump?
Yes, I'm fascinated by Trump because he is a classic, tragic Shakespearean character. you know, what's so amazing about Donald Trump is that unabashedly a demagogue. He talks about issues and problems, and if you listen to that, you would think that everything is horrible. Everything is just horrible. He also doesn't present any solutions. I'm just going to make it great. It'll be great again. I can guarantee it. Great again. We're going to work great deals. It's going to be fantastic. Everything's going to be huge. It's going to be great. Great, great, great. Huge. Problem, problem, problem. Great, great, great. And you go, he's saying nothing. He has no ideas. He's in a remarkable, that's why he's so Shakespearean, because he's just unlike anyone we've ever seen in that realm.
Do you think he could win?
It's not real to me that he could win. It would be just the most bizarre thing imaginable. I don't think he's going to win. And I hope that when he loses, he would do everyone a huge favor if he just went away. Please just go away.
Before he started making money out of acting, Cranston did a succession of jobs. He was even an ordained minister.
I met a guy named Reverend Bob, who was a very friendly guy, and he said, I need your help one day. And I said, what is it? He goes, I accidentally booked 2 weddings, same day, same time, but different locations. You need to do one of them. And I said, I can't do it. I can't do it. He says, it pays $200. I go, I'll do it. And all of a sudden, I'm an ordained minister. And it did occur to me after the success of Malcolm in the Middle or Breaking Bad that someone might be watching at some point and went, honey, I think Walter White married us. It's a possibility.
One last thing. Since I became famous, you wrote in this book, my personality has changed. Mm-hmm. What did you mean by that?
Well, one thing that you don't train for, you don't know when you become an actor, is what to do if you become famous. There's no school for that. There's no class for that. You are met with, at one time, you can go to a store and nobody knows who you are, and you're treated on an even keel with everyone else. I'm no longer treated on an even keel with everyone else. What is that like? What I lost also, one of the things that I love to do, and as an actor's obligation really, and interest, is to study human behavior. But once you are being studied yourself, their behavior has changed and they're no longer acting normal. And the conversation too, when you meet people, they want to talk about me. That's all they want to talk about is me. And quite frankly, I want to expand beyond that. I have a tendency now to be more secluded.
Stay at home.
Yeah.